Hello and welcome to Woman Empowered Wednesday. I am your host, Angela A. Love Lewis, and I'm so excited because I have a special person with me here today, and we are going to be talking about all things women empowerment. Twanda, how are you today? Twanda, are you able to hear me? Looks like she's frozen. So hopefully you can hear me, Twanda. I'm trying to send you a message. There you go. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So I was just that you are my
What I did was I tried to go.
say it one more time, Twanda. Y'all know how it is with these technical difficulties. So give us a minute so she can get everything together on her end. And Twanda, you may have to go out and come back in order for us to hear you. But as she's doing that, everybody come on in. Again, this is Woman Empowered Wednesday. I am your host, Angela A. Love Lewis. We're showing up on Wednesdays, of course, talking about all things empowerment. This, of course, is a mental health awareness month. And so I'm super excited because Twanda Whitten is our Woman Empowered Wednesday guest, but she's also, we are honoring all of the empowered women every day of the month. And so she's also the woman empowered for today as well. So Twanda, how are you?
I'm doing well today. I was having a little technical difficulties. I was trying to use my computer versus using my phone, but nevertheless, I'm here and I thank God for the opportunity. I thank God for the empowerment. That's actually my passion, my goal to see women empowered, see women heal, see women rise to their fullest potential. And I see women doing that every day. Thank you, Angela. You are a prime example of that.
I appreciate it. And I'm so glad we got connected because you are the CEO and founder of I Am Every Woman. And so what I like and what I think is so important when you have women who are connected with you, when you have women who can collaborate doing the same type of things because we're in the same arena. We're encouraging and motivating and inspiring women. And it's beautiful to connect because now we can share resources, we can encourage one another. And I want you to kind of tell people how you came about the concept and what made you want to start doing this particular project with I Am Every Woman.
Well, like I told you before, I procrastinated with I Am Every Woman for a while. You know, you kind of want to make sure that you're doing things in the will of God and not in your will. And I kind of was talking myself out of it because I could see a lot of women empowerment groups that were already out there. And so that's why I was a little hesitant. God, is this what you want me to do? Or, this is just in myself because I have a passion for women and I am a woman myself. And so I toiled with it for a while. And then one day, and also you have to be careful who you allow to speak in your ear and speak over your dreams and things that that God may be dealing with you on, because sometimes people may intentionally try to discourage you or unintentionally. And so when seeds are planted too, it's sow seeds of doubt, unsurety, and things like that. And so I was a little hesitant about doing it. And so one day, I was praying about it again. And I said, Lord, if this is really you, I need to know that this is really what you want me to do in this hour and in this time. And I don't want to act in myself and in my flesh. I know that when you're with me, that whatever we're doing is going to be successful. And so, um, this was so crazy. I was driving in my car, and at the time, the pandemic had just started. And I was looking for Lysol and cleaning products and things like that. And so what happened was, um, we were I was driving, and the voice spoke to me and said, the Holy Spirit, I'm gonna say, spoke to me and said, go into Walgreens. And so I said, okay, so maybe there's some Lysol, some cleaning products that I'm looking for maybe in Walgreens. And so I went in Walgreens, and they didn't have what I thought I was in there looking for. So I started looking around at some vitamins and things like that. And I said, well, let me get a couple of vitamins or whatever. I said, well, Lord, why you have me come in here? And just as I spoke that, I Am Every Woman by Chaka Khan came on the radio. And I said, God, if it's not any clearer than that, I said, I am moving forward with this, and I am going to put my best foot forward. And I know that if you lead me every step of the way, that whatever these women need, as well as myself, is going to get exactly that. And so it began to come together. I began to move out and step out and do things. And I launched in January, a pre-launch. And the reason I say pre-launch is because I wanted to give the group some time to grow, some time and feel for where God wanted to take me as well as the group. And when that all comes together, then I want to launch a big I Am Every Woman event. And again, I thank you for this opportunity to bond with other women, because the vision, from what I see now, the vision is greater than myself. The vision is greater than yourself. It's greater than all of the other women that may have empowerments and groups and motivations and things like that to gear towards women.
Mhm.
And what I see is that the move is so great that when we come together and we collaborate, it actually becomes greater, and God can really move in the different gifts and in different talents, because what I may not know, or what I may not operate in and you may operate in, may bring and enhance what I'm doing. Just like you said, what I may have may collaborate and come together with you, and we work together. And it's not our business, it's not our projects, it's God's business and his kingdom, and about building his kingdom and doing what is best for everybody and not just ourselves.
Amen. I love that, Twanda. And I'm going to give you a few comments because I see Valerie, she's on. She says, I'm every woman. Love the name. She also came back and said, God makes no mistakes. Yes, success is who we are. Divine encounters are always on the horizon to activate and confirm our calling. And she said it's a move for sure. And I love all of that. And I want to welcome some of the guests we have. Marisa Bludorn, thank you for showing up. Valerie Thompson, of course. Jessica Hill, Jamaica Thompson. Thank you, ladies, for tuning in. For anyone else, if y'all can, please share this out, because I think it's really important when we talk about, of course, May, Mother's Day, the month, but it's also a month to celebrate women, to celebrate our accomplishments, to celebrate who we are, what we're doing. And there's no better way than to talk about connecting and collaborating with each other and not having that crabs in a barrel type of mentality. And so, when Twanda and I had an opportunity to talk, just embracing what each other does, and of course, how I am a woman empowered, and how she does I Am Every Woman. Whether there's similarities or differences, we are still all coming together to promote and encourage and motivate and inspire each other to be the best that we can be. And it's not just for one person. Everybody can get it. And you go hopefully and get what you need to go out in the world and touch another sister, to build that sisterhood. And so, Tawanda, I love it because, Shaka Khan, how nobody does I'm Every Woman. Well, I know Whitney Houston did it too, but that right there speaks to us just as women wearing so many hats. So what has been, um, for you, the inspiration? Like, was there someone in your family that inspired you? Was there someone outside of the family that inspired you to want to be that person for other women?
Well, you know what? Um, I've I've learned since I've been on this journey that what our gifts and our talents are has been with us all of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we have received Christ as our Lord and Savior or not, our gifts and talents followed us. And I've always been that person that opened up my house door, that was that person that God has always blessed me, financially, that was able to be a lender most of the time and not a borrower. And so I was always that person that gave. And so um now I see I said to myself, I said, you know what, you've been doing this all your life.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you've been doing all your life. You always poured into other women, and God has given you great wisdom. And I thank God for the wisdom. And you will notice that I will thank God a lot because since I invited Him into my life, He has really been showing up in my life miraculously. And the thing that He wants to do for I am every woman and every woman is what how He gave it to me was transparent. First, we have to be transparent. We have to own our truth. We have to acknowledge our truth. We have to feel it. We have to feel the emotions and everything that came along with that, and not be ashamed to share that. That's where the transparency comes in at, because um you've heard that saying, and we use it loosely, that the truth will set you or make you free. And so this is how God gave it to me. If we're transparent about our truth and we're not ashamed about telling our truth and acknowledging the things that we experience through those truths and sharing them with other women, then they too can be set free. And then once you're able to tell your truth without shame, then there's a transformation that goes on. And so it's transparent, transformational healing. And so when you go through telling your truth, there's a transformation that is taking place. Your mindset begins to change about that situation. You're no longer ashamed about it. You can talk about it freely. And once you releases it, it frees it from you. And so you begin to transform, you begin to grow, you begin to kind of like that caterpillar and butterfly transformation that happens. And then, healing takes place through that. And so that's what I Am Every Woman is bringing to the table: transparent, transformational healing, because we all have healing to do within. We carry as women a lot of baggage that sometimes as children we never had a chance to voice a lot of things, because whatever happened in our households, we had to keep it in our households. And that wasn't not necessarily healthy to do, because there was a lot of things that were going on that needed to be talked about and addressed. And so now you have adults that need to heal from things that happened and transpired in our early years.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is so good, and so good in so many ways, because I'm looking at, some of the people who are on here. So you talk about transparency and owning it. Well, Marisa Bluedorn, she's, the queen of owning it. She has her publishing company and written books, and, talks about own taking center stage and owning it. And then Valerie Thompson, her whole thing is own your truth, and talking about how childhood drama can lead to adult trauma, and so childhood trauma can lead to adult drama. And so I just thought it was so unique that you spoke about those things while these ladies are also here on the platform listening in, because we go through a lot of things. And when you think about it, sometimes because we grew up with what goes on in this house stays in this house. Children should be seen and not heard. So when things happen, you internalize it, you have it bog you down to where now you don't even know how to process situations. You go through life and you're still carrying around this heavy bag of things you've been through that you haven't been able to talk about. But it's in speaking about your traumas that you're able to transform and become better and release some of the things and actually heal. And that goes into why May is, Mental Health Awareness Month. And so when we talk about healing, you're absolutely right. A lot of the things that we don't heal from are things that cause us mental health issues. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Because a lot of the transformation has to happen in the mind. Because if we look at things, it's always a trigger that's in our mind that causes us to react to whatever that trauma was, whatever that hurt was, whatever that pain is. Because I find it, and I'm guilty of this. I used to be guilty of this, where someone may do something to me or say something to me, and they know it may, when they said it, might have been hurtful or a dig at you or something, and you'd be like, oh, okay, that's all right, it's okay, and you just brush it off. But inside you felt something whenever that situation was taking place or that circumstance was happening, and you felt some kind of way. And see, what happens is we internalizes it, and then it goes in our minds and we start thinking about it. And then every time we see that person, we might feel in a certain way about that person, because you know why? Because we never dealt with it at that moment. No, I didn't feel okay just then. I was hurt, and I need to understand why you felt the way you felt, or why you said what you said, and this is how I felt about that. So in other words, we lie about it and we internalize it. And those are the things that we have to learn how to deal with and stop holding everything in. And I think it goes back to, like you said, we lose our voice at that time, and we don't know how to process and tell people, yeah, well, yeah, I really didn't like that, because we value their opinions more than we value our own.
Mm. Oh, honey, when I tell you, you have said a mouthful with that. We value other people's opinion more than our own, but it does start back with hurts. And it may feel insignificant to the person who said it or did it. They may feel like, they didn't, it really wasn't anything, or she'll get over it. But for a lot of people, I believe I was reading a lady's story, and she was talking about how, they used to say back in the day, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Well, that's a lie. For a lot of people, things that were said to you in your childhood, whether it was somebody telling you, to get somewhere and sit down, nobody wants to hear what you're talking about, or you're never going to be anything, all those things that hurt you that you can't speak about goes on, and sometimes it's way into your adult years, and you bury it down and you don't deal with it. Now it's coming out with you having relationships with other people, and it's not working out, where people feel like you're bringing drama everywhere you go, but it's because that little kid inside of you never felt like they could be heard, or the young adult inside of you felt like they had to press their feelings down. And you're absolutely right. Somebody shared a video today. A lady was talking about sisterhood, and she made a comment about, you have to be able to talk to someone at the point of the incident versus letting it just stay inside and build and build and build. And you're harboring resentment and unforgiveness. And these people have went on and don't even know that you're dealing with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes. Absolutely. That is absolutely correct. I agree with that 100%. And so, this is what, we're all about, growing and discovering the women that we really are before all this stuff. What we have internalized, we have gone through, things that we haven't dealt with, things that, we haven't let go. And I think it's important that, you know, we heal from these things,
Mhm.
because there's so much more to women than, being catty, being crabs in the bucket. We are very intelligent. We're beautiful. And that was one of the other things that I was talking about with someone, is how, those words that people, speak into your lives, they plant seeds. And, when we begin to think on it, we going back to the mind, when we begin to think on those things, like the Bible says, so a man thinketh, so is he. When we begin to think on those negative things that people have placed in our spirit that doesn't belong there, we begin to dwell on that. We begin to think on that, and we begin to grow into that,
Mm.
which something that somebody spoke over our lives, when that really is not who we are. And so we have to begin to renounce those things, reject them, and release them out of our spirit, because that doesn't belong to us. That's not who we are.
That is so powerful. Farika just said, yes, that's it. You're right, because you know how a lot of times people will speak things, and instead of us saying, no, that's not who I am, we turn out to become exactly what they have called us to be. You embrace it even when you're saying it. And I thought about it. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and a lot of times when you're growing up, especially if you have an absentee parent, or you might say, well, I'm never going to be like my mom. I'm never going to be like my dad. But years later, you wind up becoming exactly the person that you said that you didn't want to be like, because you've embraced all of those negative things versus renouncing it and saying, hey, I'm not going to be this. I'm going to move, and I'm going to make sure that that's what I do. Or somebody says, okay, well, you're promiscuous, and you're never going to be a wife. You're always going to be somebody's, jump off girl. Well, you take that and it breaks your spirit. And next thing you know, you feel like that's all you're going to be. So that's how you show up in the world. And I'm so glad you brought attention to that, because more people see that as their reality than not.
Right. Absolutely. I put something out there the other day. I can't remember exactly what it was, but in other words, don't let other people's opinion be your truth of
Mm,
who you are. People can say who you are all they want to, but like you say, if you receive that, that's what you eventually become. So, and I've had to learn, if people about me, I'd be like, nah, I disagree with that. And I'm not receiving that. I'm not, and it's okay to say that, because when you disagree, because people may have an assumption or something about you when they don't really know you, you
mm-hmm.
know. And so how can you tell me who I am if you don't even really know me? You know of me, but you don't know the struggles that I might go through. You don't know the things that I'm praying about. You don't know the things that I'm overcoming. And you can't keep me stuck in a place of a person that you knew yesterday, because today I might flip on you and I'm totally new today. So you can't say that you totally know me,
I
because
love.
we're ever evolving.
Yes, that's what I was thinking when you were talking, that people will put you in a box from some things that happened in 1995. Well, you're not the same person that you were in 1995. And we don't give enough grace. I see Farika put receive grace. We don't give each other the grace to evolve to who you are today, because you may have been one way. That every drug dealer at 17 or 18 doesn't mean that they're a drug dealer because they're a successful businessman 10 or 20 years later. You have to start understanding that people go through phases and changes in their life, and they can meet people, they can find God, they can, evolve, because that's what we all do. We don't stay the same person that we were, because you're constantly getting information and exposure to different people and different things that help you to develop who you are, whether it's good things or bad things. The drama and the trauma, the molestation may have been traumatizing, but you can use that to build you into a better person, and someone who can absorb that and take it for whatever it is, and then move forward and help someone else who may be experiencing the same thing. Excuse me. But you don't have to stay there. Excuse me, Twanda, go ahead. I'm gonna give you some water.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to stay there. And I love Cynthia's book, You Don't Have to Stay There, because we don't. It's up to us. We have to make a decision, and we have to make a choice. And every decision and every choice that we make, it's a consequence. And whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence, it's still a consequence. It's still going to be an outcome. And so, we don't have to allow other people to dictate who we are, um, because we are overcomers. We are mothers. We are, some of us, have to play the role. We can't be fathers, but when they're absent, you know what I'm saying, we have to try to fill that void, of that absent parent. It's so much that we as women go through, and each woman should be able to understand the other woman's struggle, because we are women and we go through some of the same struggles. So build each other up instead of tearing each other down, because what you may have gone through last week, I might be going through this week, and I might need your help to lift me up to that next level, because you've gone through what I've am experiencing. And so, that's why it's such a passion for me, because I want to see us build each other up and not tear each other down. And, I used to get, when I was younger, um, how people would perceive, my mom used to dress us real nice and everything, and girls would get the assumption of, I used to think I was all of that, but I never really did. I was like, they don't even really know that I had some insecure struggles as well. You know what I'm saying? I had some insecurities myself. And but I guess the way I used to carry myself, and things like that, or people just form opinions, and they don't even really know you. And then
Mm-hmm.
when once they would get to know me, they would realize, oh, she's so really down to earth. She's this, she's that, and this and that and the other. Let's not try to form opinions about people before we really get to know them. Some days we may be having a bad day, and that might not be our best person in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So, let's not judge. And I had to learn to do that as well, not to be so judgmental of things. And it took me a while, but I think of how, when a person comes before you, and this is a part of transforming our minds too, how a person comes before you, okay? Like, I might see you, Angela, and you might be walking towards me, and I might be walking towards you. And we're already, because we visually see this person automatically in our mind, and if you honest with me and I'm honest with you, we're already forming an opinion in our mind about that person.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Before they even say hello, you already looking at them from what they have on, like, oh, how you
Uh-huh.
move, all of that. You're absolutely right.
All of that. I mean, and I don't know if it's just the human nature, or what. And what happened to me one day, and I had to correct this person. It was a Caucasian lady, and at the time, we were doing some of my financial stuff, and I thought the lady was a nice looking lady. And when women are nice looking and they dress nice or whatever, I'm gonna give them a compliment. You know what I'm saying? I'm just that person. And so this day I was looking at the lady, and I was like, you know what? She's a nice looking lady. And so she had her hair you know how they have their hair kind of wet, so, sometimes, and, their hair has to dry. And I wasn't even looking at that. I was looking past that. And so she says to me, she says, I know you're looking at, at my hair because my hair is undone today. And I say, you know what? Actually, I really wasn't. I said, you know what my thoughts were about you? I was actually saying to myself, you're a nice looking lady. And
Wow.
she was like, oh, thank you. And I was thinking, da, 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 da. And see, a lot of times women have that same perception about their own self,
Mm-hmm. On their own insecurities.
of their own self. That's what
Mhm.
it taught me that day she was feeling a little insecure about her hair, how she was looking or whatever, and not her true beauty. And
Mm.
that's what happens to a lot of us. We don't recognize our own true beauty.
That's powerful, powerful. I see. TT said, when I'm speaking over my life, I do not use words with wish, hope, or will. I speak into existence if it is already done and God has already gave it to me. And you have to really speak, because as we grow up, all of us have something about ourselves that we don't like, or we feel, funny, some type of way about. And sometimes people can play on that and make you feel worse, or make you feel like, you don't want to show up, or you don't want to go places because you don't want people to say certain things. Like you said, when somebody looked at you just because of how your mom dressed you, that really was outside of your control. Growing up, if your parents are buying you clothes or whatever, you're going to put on what they give you. That has nothing really to do with how you carry yourself or think about yourself in terms of feeling better than. Sometimes it just is what it is. But some people don't take the time to get to know you. They automatically make an assessment and then think that's the truth. And it's not always. You have to take the time to get to know someone and build that relationship in order to know how that person is, how they show up, how they do things. And you may miss out on somebody great because you have the wrong perception.
Actually, it might be your blessing in disguise, really.
Your blessing in disguise.
Might be your blessing in disguise, really. So, yeah, I had to, learn um, that as well, because we do make a judgment and an assumption, and so that's all a part of transforming the mind and retraining our mind, because um, we were trained that way. And so it has to be a retraining, a rebirthing, a renewing of the mind. And sometimes I have to say, you know what? I need to put a nail in that thought right there. I need to crucify that thought right there,
That's
because
good.
that thought doesn't belong here. And
Mhm.
so when we do that, that's a part of retraining the things that we think about. Like, I don't no longer want to think that way. So I need to crucify that thought right there. I don't need to think that way anymore. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself. I talk to myself. Like,
Mhm.
I no, you don't need, not out loud, but in my head, because a
Mhm.
lot of talking and noise go on in our heads. And so that's where the transformation has to um, go forth, as well as healing from some thoughts and ways and things that we were shaped into, molded into. And we just have to teach ourselves how to do things differently and think differently.
Yes, I think I saw you do a live not too long ago about being God's masterpiece. And I think for a lot of us, we forget we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And when you don't think highly of yourself, you're really saying that you don't believe in what God made. And we know that He created us in a special way. We're all unique. So just because I don't talk like you or dress like you or look like you doesn't make me inferior to you. It just makes me my own unique, different person. And like you said, if I own who I am and I'm transparent about who I am, then if someone doesn't like that, that's not on me, that's on them. And I have to be
Absolutely.
confident enough, and that's where, to me, where being empowered comes in. You have to have the confidence in who you are and trust that God is going to He's already created you with every single thing that you need, and you have to be okay with it. And so what if you don't like your nose, maybe, or your, your eye shape, or whatever it is that you don't like? Embrace it all, because it all makes you who you are. And I think we waste a lot of time trying to think about what we don't like versus what's wonderful about us, because if we're God's masterpiece, there's a lot of great things about us. And if we focus on the good things, the great things, the other things really don't matter. They're of little consequence. But it's like, when you go out in the world and you're trying to do things, you focus on the one person that tells you something negative versus the other 50 people who brag on you and say they're proud of you and encourage you and inspire you. You don't really pay attention to what they're saying. You will pick that one person who says something negative and you focus on that.
Why do you think that is so? Why do we always focus on the negative versus, because even about ourselves, we can do a whole lot of great things,
Mhm.
but we focus and we zero in on the negative. Why do you think that is so?
I just believe that as society has moved on, things have happened to where people feel like they have to put you down in order for them to get up. And it's just been a progression where you mimic what you see. So instead of us embracing each other and building each other up and saying good things so that you feel good about yourself, we've been taught to feel like what somebody else says matters. So, like you said, you listen to their voice and not your own. So, when you start doing that, how you feel about yourself becomes less and less, and you start becoming a people pleaser, or you're somewhere trying to imitate somebody else because you think that is what's going to make you more likable, that's going to get you more friends, instead of standing on our own. And we've just gotten away from being that unique person and embracing who we are no matter what. And that's something that as women we need to really encourage each other to be you and be grateful of how God created you and who you are, and know that just because somebody doesn't like you doesn't mean the whole world is against you. It's just that person, and it may not even really be them. Maybe they were going through something that particular day. Maybe they were having a bad day, and like you said, like the lady was saying, instead of taking a compliment, I know you're looking at my hair, and you're saying, I'm not even thinking about that. Sometimes we think people are checking for us and they're really not even paying attention to the things you think they're thinking about. So it's about just owning who you are, embracing that. My friend Jasmine is having a brunch this weekend, and it's gracefully embracing me. And I think that's such a great title, because you have to embrace yourself and extend grace to yourself and love yourself, flaws and all, outside of what somebody else believes and thinks.
Absolutely. That's right. Learning that we are enough, and
Mhm.
taking out time to just self care on ourselves, because we do a lot. We need to take out time and do some of the things that we like to do for ourselves, pamper ourselves sometimes, just go somewhere, sometimes quietly, and just, you know, step back from everything and reflect and regroup and, pour back into ourselves, especially us that pour out a lot and pour out and feel like, you don't have anyone to pour back into you. But the writer says that sometimes you have to encourage yourself. And so when you don't find that, you have to encourage yourself. But it's nice to always have somebody else that's able to pour into you, not just everybody, because some people you may not want to pour into you. And we have to be careful with that as well, because that's how some of the seeds got planted that don't belong there. And we have to go in and dig them up by the root.
Yes, yes. I see Jessica said we are everything. And that's what I love about, I am every woman, because you really have to. And TT, thank you. I see you said powerful message, ladies. You really have to start understanding that I am every woman. So we all go through insecurities. We all feel like, maybe I'm not good enough, or, you had somebody say something to you that hurt your feelings. Well, when you know that that's happened to you, then we have to be understanding of the next woman. Put yourself in her shoes. I think Shaq has a commercial out where it's him and another young lady. And of course, he's so tall over her, and he's walking in her shoes and she's walking in his. And you realize how difficult it is when you're in somebody else's shoes to get to where you're going. And I think that's such a unique and powerful message, because when you're saying I'm every woman, that means that I have to think about what your struggle is. What do you deal with? How do you stay? What keeps you up at night? What motivates you to keep going? And when you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes and understand that I am every woman, whether I'm broke or whether I'm prosperous, whether I am, dealing with mental health issues, or whether, I have a sound mind, whether I am, have a solid group of friends who support me in everything I do, or I feel like I'm a loner and nobody encourages me. You have to be able to be empathetic enough to say that I'm every woman, and then embrace women and not be petty. But a lot of times, not to say that not to say that we wouldn't gossip, not to say that things don't happen, but when they do, bring that back in. Like you say, you take that thought and you put a nail in it. You crucify it and say, hey, no, you know what? That's not the right way to be. I need to do better. And then proceed to do better.
Absolutely. And it's all about not only the other woman, but we are the woman too, and it's okay to recognize where we need to come up at,
Mm-hmm.
and so when we grab a hold of that, I think that we're not only going to be just groups, but we'll become a tribe of women. And when women come together, there's nothing that we cannot do. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? And so we have to grasp that. And even in our culture, we have to grasp that we're better together. We're better together. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Your gift, your talent, our gift, they all may be similar, but nobody can work your gift or your talent like you, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are unique. And when God made you, He broke the mold.
Boom. Y'all see, she just sat back like, boom, that's a drop the mic moment, right? He broke the mold. And
He broke the mold.
it's exciting to hear that, Tawanda, because, let me see who this is. They put a person has to keep their circle with surrounding themselves with positive people who will pray with them, motivate them, and do what it takes to succeed in every aspect of their life. And I love that, because you surrounding yourself with great people, just like Jessica was on here earlier, and she was like, I'm just here to support. And that's beautiful. Jessica has her own women's group, that she runs. She has, thousands of people in her group, but she not understands and recognizes the importance of supporting somebody else. Just as you and I connecting, me having you on my podcast has nothing to do. It doesn't take away from I'm a woman empowered just because I'm talking about I'm every woman. Same thing with I have the encouragement 365. Jamaica was on here earlier. I reached out to her. Farika's on here, to help, and Valerie to help me with that group, to bring value and to bring content and to pour in and sow into other women. I didn't say, oh, this is my group, nobody else can talk. No, you want to have people come in that can help you and encourage you and motivate it, because we're in this thing together. Contrary to what people think, you cannot go through life alone. And I see somebody saying, yes, TT, community is important. And it is. The more that we can push our differences aside and see where we're having commonalities, the stronger that we become.
Absolutely. And I thank God for the connection. I thank you for the opportunity of bringing me on here. That sisterly love. I just thank God for that, because we don't ever know what a person, or why a person God allows to come into our lives for that particular moment, whether it's to learn something, whether it's to drop off a blessing, and even if it seems negative or derogatory, it's something that we always have to learn from all of our experiences. And so, your experience could help me, my experience could help you. Like you said, we may have some of the similarities in their story or whatever it may be, but we're all different. We're all different, and we can all bring something to the table. It doesn't have to be one. So what you don't do it like somebody else. Do it like you, and you'll find out maybe that you like you. You know, I'm gonna use me. I'm transparent. I tells my stuff.
Mhm.
It was how you would see different speakers and you want to speak like them, and if I could do that just like them or whatever. And one day I had this aha moment, and this is what brings me to where I am right now in my growth. Is I had to stop looking at everybody else and wanted to do it like they were doing it or speak like they were doing it. I had to embrace who I was and how God made me to speak, and how I may bring forth a message, or I may bring forth um, his wisdom. I had to embrace that. I said, I don't know if I might be the next best thing until I operate in who I fully am.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? I might just find out that I like the way I do it. I might even feel like I do it a little bit better than they might do it. I don't know if I had never tried to do it the way God gives it to me.
Mm. Honey, that is so powerful. You never know. And at the end of the day, God has assigned people who are looking for you authentically. It's just like, people like to talk about, oh, well, you need to conform to a certain size because that's what men like, or a certain hairstyle. Maybe they like natural versus wigs or weaves, or just different things. But I want to say that when we're talking about elevating and celebrating women, the real people are going to like you just like you are. And whether I like to wear a wig or a weave and somebody else is natural, I'm going to respect what you like as you should respect what I like. And it doesn't make one person better than the other. It speaks to we're all different and uniquely made. But if you're transparent and you own who you are, you don't know. You may be like you said, the next best thing, but you get to be the next best thing being who you are, not imitating someone else. As they say, the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome may take you somewhere for a moment, but you can't sustain it because it's not really you. The only thing you can sustain is being who you were created to be, with your own craziness, your own
Right.
silliness, your own brand of
Right.
fun, your own whatever that is. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It has to be
Absolutely.
authentically you because somebody's out there looking for who you are, not somebody else. Because if they did, they would have went over there to their group. But it's beautiful because somebody can get something from me and turn right around and go and listen to you later tonight and get something from you too. It doesn't mean that I have to pick a side. I should be able to glean from whoever it is that can give me some information that helps me to be me. And
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. And that's what our connection is, because there was something that I felt and I saw that was in you that I can glean from you to help me along this journey. And that's another thing. We have to realize that if there is somebody that has a gift that can help you in your gift, then you should embrace that person, because it's only going to enhance you and be able to take you further into whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. You know, I don't know everything. And so if I can learn from somebody else, I'm going to, glean from that, and it's always about evolving. ever evolving. And when you can't learn from someone else, then you stop learning, and that means you must know everything.
Right,
We
right.
learn, we learn, we're always ever learning. That's a part of evolving, because you have to learn and be able to take what tidbits or jewels that you can pick up along the way to help you on this journey, because you don't know everything.
You do not. And my friend Piangela Jones said, growth is for grown-ups. So that means that all the little
I
foolish
like that.
do. It is, and to experience, in order to evolve, you have to grow. You can't be stuck in the same mindset. You got to open up and listen to somebody else, because they may say something that's going to bless you. But if all you want to do is keep your head buried in the sand and do things your way and your way only, you will never grow. But then you can't be grown staying stuck, staying still. You've got to be able to release all this pettiness, all of the childishness, all of the backbiting and crab in a barrel mentality. And you got to recognize it. And that's not to say that if you do something that you need to stop. You just need to recognize it, own it, and then move on. Don't, like Cynthia, like we
Absolutely.
said earlier about Cynthia Marie, you don't have to stay there. When you find yourself in a place that you don't like, maybe you say, I don't even like me today because I know that I did something or said something that wasn't becoming of the woman that I am. And it's okay. Just don't stay there. Repent of that thing and then move on. If you need to apologize to somebody, then do that. Be the bigger woman, the bigger person, to say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I prejudged you. I thought certain things about you, but I was dealing with my mess and my stuff, and I didn't even give you a
Absolutely.
chance to be who you are. And so I'm so excited, Twanda, to have you on the Woman Empowered Wednesday. Please let everybody know what's in store for I Am Every Woman, how they can connect with you, and whatever parting words you want to leave with the audience.
Well, I thank you, ladies, for all joining us today. Actually, I've joined a couple of groups that I'm sure each of you ladies are probably a part of. And see, for me, by joining the different groups is because I am a woman that needs to be empowered as well. And that's pouring back into myself, and that's investing in myself. And see, I am every woman. um, I have a group on Facebook. I also do StreamYard, and I'm working on my YouTube channel now. Also, I am on Instagram as I am every woman 21. And I say, I might have should have named the group I am every woman 21, because it's for a mature audience that wants to learn and continue to evolve and to grow into grown women, like
Mhm.
the young lady was saying in the chat there. So yes, I'm doing what I am called to do, and every day, as Angela told me, just show up. Just show up. Even on those days that I don't feel like showing up, just show up and be there, because somebody needs something that each of us can bring each and every day, because we have people that are assigned to us. And if we're not doing our assignment, somebody is missing out on what they need. And so that's what I'm learning and taking from all of this, that somebody needs what each of us have. And so I say that we're better together. And just because I have I Am Every Woman doesn't mean that I can't go and support my other sisters that have other groups and other conferences and brunches and things like that, because I find that feeds back into me, and it helps me to grow and be who I need to be for the women that I have to reach. So I love you ladies, and thank you for having me. And I am going to meet you ladies in person. I'm gonna come to Georgia and meet my sisters. Um, I'm not sure when, but I am, because I have a lot of things like right now going on. I do a lot of other things. I do outreach stuff as well. That's another one of my compassions, is to do outreach. So I do community things. I also go to like the women's shelters to bring I Am Every Woman to the women's shelters, because those women need us as well, you know. Because they are broken, bruised, and they have things that they're going through, even right now in their lives, may not have a home. And so I even go and I reach out to those women as well. So um, I spread myself, I spread myself out there.
Well, listen, you are blessed to be a blessing, and that you are. I see TT said we are here on earth and have a purpose that needs to be fulfilled. And that's absolutely right. As women, we owe it to ourselves and our sisters to show up and give the best version of ourselves. And if some connection or collaboration can help us do that, then let's start coming together instead of, tearing each other apart. And I'm so glad again, Twanda, to have you on here. Much success to I Am Every Woman. I know it's going to be a huge blessing and impact to so many women. Ladies, please reach out and connect with her on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll make sure that, she lets us know when she's having something or doing something so that we can support as well. So until then, next Wednesday, y'all stay tuned. We're going to have on another guest to pour into us. Again, this is Woman Empowered Wednesday. Twanda is our empowered woman of the day. So y'all celebrate her, go to her page, follow her, and just pray for her, that God
Yes,
to guide her
definitely that.
and
Definitely that.
yes, to guide her and tell her the direction that she needs to be in. Because I tell you, this lady is a powerful woman with so much wisdom, and she's just a blessing. And so I'm so glad we were able to connect.
Thank you. I'm glad we connected too. And I know it was a divine connection, that we connected, and I'm just glad that we did. And to God be the glory to wherever we go from here, you know, um, because we all working for the kingdom of God. And so with that, we're gonna do the work. We're gonna do the work.
We're going to do the work. Yes, yes, yes. All right, TT, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it. I will see you all next time. Until then, have a wonderful winning Wednesday. You guys be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you.